funky go-go style beats. High quality live and studio recorded pocket and socket beat loops, bounce beat loops, and guitar and bass samples will get your track sounding like the real deal. Our drum kits include a variety of real drum kicks, snares, congas, cowbells, jam blocks, timbales, rototons, crashes, and even more. We also have individual drum beat loops and Congo beat loops that can be used as play-along tracks for learning and practice purposes. These are the most exclusive drum samples on the planet. Since go-go is an art form born and bred in the DMV, there aren't any other places you can find this unique sound. We have affordable pricing and different types of products that can fit in anyone's budget. Sign up to the Go-Go Loop at gogoloops.com and get free samples and discount codes. If you want your music to stand out in the crowd, you need samples from gogoloops.com. Our music, our culture, our way. Visit gogoloops.com today and always keep it cranking.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, each and every Wednesday night at the Hangar Club located at 6410 Old Branch Avenue, Temple Hill, Maryland, featuring Curtis Johnson and the Fabulous Eternity Band playing the hits, y'all cranking, hitting with the 1-2. And we got a few new things we're gonna lay on you. And for the first 25 ladies, free drink on me, baby. It's gonna be a blast, free all night long. For more information, dial 301-395-3769. Look to see your face in the play. Be there.
At last, welcome, Andrew. As you no doubt have guessed, I'm Michelle.
It's an honor to meet you.
No, the honor is mine. Please, come sit. I would imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole.
You could say that.
I can see it in your eyes. You have the look of a man who accepts the music he hears because he's expecting to wake up. Ironically, this isn't far from the truth. Do you believe in fate, Andrew?
No.
Why not?
I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there is something missing from the music industry. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that's brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Go-go.
Do you want to know what go-go is?
Yes.
Go-go music is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in this very neighborhood. You can hear it when you come to a traffic stop or when you turn on your television to watch news in the morning. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that's been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you're a musical slave, Andrew. And like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what go-go is. You have to see it and experience it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and listen to whatever music you want to listen to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I'll take red.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
Again, I'll take red.
Okay, let's go.
That right there was the intro to what could be potentially the turning corner for our industry. You're tuning in right now to the GoWIN radio show right here on GoGo Radio Live, Wendy C Radio, all wrapped up in GoWIN.media. I'm your host, Nico the GoGoologist, and she is here. No, not the guest, but the one, the only, Miss Lady's in the building.
I cannot, Nico. Every day is different.
I gotta catch you off guard, you know.
Every day is different.
Yeah.
Every day is different.
Ain't that how you want it?
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay. If you say so.
Yeah. Hey, Miss Lady.
Yes.
I'm so glad you finally here because I am.
Don't do that.
Not only am I excited about today's guest and talking with her, but I had a really good weekend.
You did. You did. Hey, you know what, Nico?
Yeah.
You can talk about your weekend, but I just want to talk about what's that, Sunday night? Hey, I looked over to the left, right, and I saw Nico. Like, if y'all looking, I saw Nico. He was standing up on his walker and pumping his fist. I was like, "Get it, Nico!"
You caught me.
I caught you. It must have been feeling real good too.
You know, Essence always do it for me. They always do. I was a little disturbed by the sound.
Really?
Yeah.
And like in the beginning on the
no, throughout the night. I mean, you couldn't feel Essence. Like where I was at, you couldn't feel them.
You couldn't feel it.
You know, I'm not used to that.
I could hear it.
Yeah, you could hear it clear.
It was clear.
But you couldn't feel it. It was no kick in the house.
I think it was because of the way the place is set up. It's not really straight. It's not boxy. It's not roundy. It's like it's got so many nicks and corners.
And it's got a high ceiling.
Yeah, and it has so many corners and little crevices and like it's real. You know.
Well, they redid that spot though.
Yeah, I mean, how long ago? I mean, I've been in it like 2 years ago, like on Memorial Day. I think.
No, it's been a while.
Oh, okay,
since I've been in there because
I was missing the food. They were selling food last time.
Okay, well, I haven't been there since the old vibe. You know,
before me.
Yeah,
the
old vibe. That was the last time I was in there, and Sister Lady Day. I don't know if you know her, but Michelle, you might be familiar with her. When we bring you in, I'm gonna ask you about her. But
Nico, we gotta get that.
Huh?
We gotta get one of those.
Oh, okay.
I got one of those, but it's only for the mini though.
I wanted to rap and tap for a minute so she can get situated because you know.
No, but I'm just saying I had one for the mini, but
yeah. Hey, we deal with our blessings the way we deal with them.
Exactly.
You know? So if you see something online, pull my coat.
You had to go big for it and go pro. You know what I'm saying? Go pro.
Yeah, go pro.
Yeah, pro.
Yeah. So I said earlier, but I definitely wanted to say it with you here. I want to have a real big shout out to the whole Tricky Inc. family for putting together one heck of an event this past Sunday. That for the Cool in You Cigar and Wine Fest was it was a first for me. I've never been to a wine fest before.
Did you indulge?
Actually, I did.
Okay.
Actually, I did. His wife's sangria.
Bonita.
Oh my goodness.
Bonita.
Let me tell you something, sis. The line, Black said, man, just go ahead and get you something. Go ahead and get you. I got you. I said, no, don't worry about it. I'll put up my little change. So I get over there. They opened maybe because we did our live broadcast. Shout out to the ladies of the China Pink Show. Their live broadcast was very successful. Look forward to doing more with them. Each and every Sunday right here on Wendy C Radio. But right after the broadcast, I went over there because I didn't want to, sip and work at the same time. And so I, wanted to try out the wine. The peach was gone already. It was open an hour. Peach was already gone. They was over there, and I saw the line. I was like, dang, they over here working. Man, they sold out. They sold out of their wine, and everybody really, really enjoyed it. It was very, very good. But I didn't know my man Marcus Johnson had a wine.
Really?
Yeah. That? Okay, I'll take care of Michelle.
Yeah.
But no, what's that?
Because I want to kind of be facing this way, but it's fine.
You want to put it in front of you?
Yeah, I
Put it right there.
But it's this.
Yeah, it moves. It's not planted like those.
Yeah.
Take the mic off of it.
We right now we're getting ready for the one who we've been referring to as far as the featured guest today right here on the GoWIN radio show, Miss Michelle Blackwell and her brand new project, which is called Body of Work, and we're going to get into a lot about it, not only the audio side, which is very, very rare. Matter of fact, I don't. No, the only band I remember doing it was Rasmus, which is a hell of a model to follow. But a visual album, and this young lady right here, I've seen really grow up over the years, and yeah. Well, I mean, what's great about you is the problem with go-go. A lot of times you don't see growth, within the music to where like it's growing within the industry. And so you have to have individuals that have to spark that growth. And when you get those type of individuals, for whatever reason, something, whether it be within their life, what's going on in their life, or personally, or business-wise, whatever the case may be, it does never seem to be a sustained type of effort coming from an individual that people can reach out and touch and communicate with. And you being an artist over the years, an advocate for this music and this culture, as you've been over the time, you 20 years in, right?
Well, it'll be 20 years in 2020.
Okay, well, basically 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just round up. Okay, so
yeah.
But she is she's been one that I'm really excited to say that after listening to her project that she's been working on for how many years? 3?
2.5 roughly. Yeah. So
okay.
We're rounding again. Let's
All
round
right.
down.
Okay. Yeah. She has, for me, other than, this is the last, I guess, other than Rasmus's project, but from any other artist other than CCB to put out a full major go-go project.
Chuck Brown, his last.
Yeah. Yes.
Last
Okay.
one.
Yes.
I think that was.
Yes. Thank you. You corrected me.
That was a couple years ago.
That was the one. Yeah. Well, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was when that came out. Beautiful Life.
Yep.
Beautiful Life. Yeah. So yes, we definitely can't discount.
Absolutely. The inspiration.
The Godfather.
For it all.
Yeah. So
the reason why we're here.
no doubt. So with all that being said, you've been doing something that, which is, it's sad to say, seems like you've been kind of like put in a box. Like, what is she doing?
Oh yeah.
For all these years, because you're thinking outside what should be the musical norm for our industry.
Right.
On working on your own project and actually putting it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what always been an issue for me. Like, bands have talked about for years, talking about we got something new coming out for you,
right? And
we never hear or see from it. Even the greatest. I remember Rasmus working on a project that took 3 years for something that should have been out much sooner. You know, but because they're working so much,
right?
They don't necessarily able to do that. So, which brings you to today, and you and I, we've talked prior to this, but I really wanted the conversation to be as organic as possible.
Yes.
Especially with Miss Lady in the house, she brings a whole nother perspective that can identify with your struggle in this industry. An
extremely important one. Yes. Because she's a woman.
Yes, exactly.
In this business.
Exactly.
And our voices.
Yes.
And
but you've been not only an advocate for the industry itself, but for women within the industry. So what was the ultimate inspiration for you putting together this project?
Well, the ultimate inspiration, I've had so many inspirations. I would have to say the ultimate inspiration would just be the culture, just I've been a part of this go-go culture my entire life. And even as a fan, when I was not necessarily aware of just how momentous and just amazing it was to be a part of something so unique, and I was just having fun with it and loved it and took it for granted, it was still something that was just a source of pride and so I've carried that with me, even from me being just a fan, from me being an artist in this business. So, and then of course I've seen it being marginalized, being, threatened to be shut down, seen it scapegoated, seen all of the negativity heaped at the culture, not just the genre. So I was inspired by, the go-go culture, period. I was inspired by many things. I was inspired by my family. I was inspired by the people that supported me, the musicians that I've been working with. Just basically, I just wanted to, just to all of these different groups and sources of inspiration to show just what this music is capable of. Not like it hasn't been shown before, but just in my own unique way.
And because my actual question is like, what was the ultimate? So I was looking for something particular, but you kind of said it, and that's kind of the way go-go is. When you listen to the music itself, it's not one particular thing that draws you to it.
Right.
It's an accumulation of it all.
Why are you gonna ask her a question and then tell her what you was looking for?
Well, I'm looking for.
I was looking for, like the ultimate inspiration. She just told you.
Boy, don't you just love sisterhood?
Goodness gracious.
I tell you, boy, don't you just love sisterhood?
Well, ask somebody a question and say, well, that wasn't really what I was looking for, but.
So I take it that you jumped into this because you had something to add.
No, I'm just, I co-sign.
Okay.
But I co-sign. Finish your point, Nico.
But you inspirational just within yourself.
And by the way, sis, that's not my good side. But
okay, I got you.
You just tell me how. You just say I trust you. I trust you to make sure you know what I'm saying.
I usually had this little tripod thing.
You want to come from this direction?
No, I got a tripod. I got a little tripod thing. I'm gonna hook it up when Nico playing music. I'm gonna make it right.
Because we definitely gotta get into the album.
It's a little more room on this side. All the bush is here.
I got you. When he play something, I'm gonna hook it on up.
No. But what you were saying though, as far as your point of view, as far as where things need to go, but this is almost, I should say almost, but it's kind of revolutionary within the industry in itself because it's a woman's point of view, a black woman's point of view, for the very first time. Have you really sat back and thought about what you are actually doing for the future of not only the culture but for the music industry in the Washington D.C. metropolitan area?
Well, oh gosh. All right, so I'm telling everybody that's listening and watching.
I didn't mean to add no weight to you, but
right. No, I mean because I told Nico before we started this that I know that as much as I'm going to try not to, there's probably going to be a lot of waterworks happening today because this has been an extremely emotional week and an extremely emotional journey, in putting this project together. And one of the things that you just brought up is one of the reasons why, because I felt a tremendous amount of responsibility, I guess you would say, in regard to your question, to put forth something that was worthy of not just the go-go culture itself, but just worthy of our potential, worthy of all of the arguments and debates about what it is that go-go can be. And I mean, it was a weighty thing, you know, and it wasn't lost on me that I'm a black woman in go-go, and there aren't very many of us. There are usually one, maybe two per band, and
but the ones that have been in it have always, especially on the business side, have always been very not only successful but influential.
Absolutely, I agree, and so I've had inspirations on that end too, on the business side. Women like Maisha from the Hip Huggers, just in leadership roles, being the face, and women like Miss Mac, like Miss Pratt, so I was always, you know, and of course, and I have to say for myself too, because of what I was able to accomplish with what band, you know, with being a businesswoman myself and having to learn from scratch and build a band and a brand from the ground up. And of course, I didn't start drawing on. I didn't start on this project until just a few years ago. So I drew on a lot of different things, but yeah, it was a weighty thing for me to, and especially since my goal from the very, very beginning of Body of Work was to do something that has not been done. And I wanted to do an all original, all go-go album. Anybody that's kind of been following me knows that has always been my goal. That's what I spoke about on my social media pages. Shout out to everybody on my live too, checking in and tuning in. Everybody that's been following me, they know, you know, that this has been my goal. So of course I have to put out, because you know how many debates you see on social media when it comes to go-go over the years. Whether, okay, so it's original, but is it hot? It's original, but is it quality music? You know, is it something that's palatable outside of this area? Like I had so much going on, and I just kind of at some points had to let go of, you know, being too over analytical and really just, you know, just focus on the music and hope that it worked itself out and that people enjoyed it.
And essentially, what you're saying is a lot of outside influences that may try to, well, not may try, but kind of like slow up the process.
Are you asking were there any outside influences? Yes. Well, I mean, you know, me managing a band for the past decade.
That's what I was alluding to.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, again, this was something that I took on that I had never done before, as far as being a band manager in this business, and so many different dynamics that go with the job, not even putting into account me being an artist too that performs. And we're talking about 365 days a year as you know, as far as my roles and responsibilities.
Dealing with personalities.
Absolutely, and just I mean, really more so in this aspect when it pertains to me doing this project is the time. You know, where's the time to do this when you're performing 3 or 4 nights a week, practicing 1 night a week, booking shows, planning shows? You know, it is extremely difficult. And you know, to Chris's credit, he had been telling me for years, you know, that I need to put out my own album. Not that I hadn't planned on doing it, but he used to always remind me, like, Michelle, you have all these originals, you need to put out, you know, an album. And he wasn't the only one. Like Stan Cooper, I mean, a lot of people did, but there were certain people that were like always in my ear, like, Michelle, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And me, you know, I was always like, you know, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it. And so finally this past September, like, it was very, very hard, but I had to step away, you know. I had to step away, and that was the main reason why. You know?
I'm sure a lot of people ask, what was the driving point? Everybody wants to get to like the drama thing, but you know, I talked to you, and you know, I don't know if you feel any differently now than when we talked about it. It was just for you. It was just.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, Joe.
It was just a point to where you came to that fork in the road.
Yeah, I did. And of course, every band, you know, I don't care what bands you play with or how long they've been together, whether it's a week or a decade, has issues, has problems, has things they have to work through, has drama. Again, you know, me being and management, obviously, you know, compounded on that because I had to be sort of in the midst and mixed up in a way and trying to handle all of those issues. And so, yeah. But, you know, overall, the main thing was there was no way I was going to be able to do what I had to do with this project and manage web band and perform. You know, there was no way I was going to be able to do that. And now knowing what I know that it couldn't have been done. Then I had a strong feeling, but now I know. Just based on, well, actually, you know, things might be different now because I know, you know, sort of, I've learned so much, and I know that I could kind of get things done easier, or more promptly, and because I've been through the process, I know sort of some shortcuts, but still, this particular project had to be done that way. I had to step away, and it was extremely painful. And it still is. You know, I talked about that on my very first post about how painful it's been to be away from the stage so long because this is the longest break that I've ever had, you know. And I spent a lot of time in isolation, you know. And, you know, go-go is the culture is a very social culture, you know. It's one where, you know, we are always interacting with each other at our shows, after the shows, before the shows. I want you to hit this. After the shows, oh, I love that. During the shows, it's my birthday. You know, we're interacting. You know, right. It's a very social environment. And and for me to be like snatched away from it, you know, for so long, for 10 months, it was extremely painful. It still is, you know, because, you know, that has been like my catharsis. That's been like, you know, that's where sort of my sanctuary is where I go to let off, you know, my steam, for me to, you know, get away from sort of my everyday stresses and all that kind of stuff. So as much as it is, you know, I hear people tell me all the time how much, you know, those shows mean to them. Sometimes they can get away. It does the same thing for me, and I'm sure a lot of people. So it was really hard, you know. It really was, but it was worth it, because it needed to be done, and I'm proud of what I was able to get done. So that's the good side of it.
Being as though that the album kind of demonstrates and dictates the go-go music.
Right.
I mean, it exemplifies it. Do you think, I mean, okay, so looking back, and you just explained it was a very hard thing for you to do, to walk away from the band, but do you think that now the album is out, that it would be a better chance to go back, like not saying go back to where you were, but just go back to because what better place to, you know what I'm saying, to show the people what the album is than, you know, playing it live.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I do plan on getting back to the stage like as soon as possible. I'm putting together shows now to promote the album. I you know, and here's another obviously hard choice that I'm you know, still having to sort of grapple with, and that is the situation as far as with what band. Okay, because again, here's the band that is, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I will always be a part of. It's always going to be home to me.
Identify with one
Absolutely.
way or the other. Yeah.
And many of, or not many, but a few of the songs that are on the album were created by what band musicians, whether they're still with what or not.
Right.
And it was the culture of what, you know what I'm saying, that created those sounds. And so, obviously, you know, and I plan on, if the door is open, you know what I'm saying, which I spoke with Chris maybe about a couple months ago about it, and I did tell him that I needed to promote my album first and foremost. You know, I did not put together an album and take off time and do all of this just to not promote it.
Right.
There's no way I can't do that. Whether, I mean, I'm sure features are in the future and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, yeah, that also too has been a really tough choice for me to try to figure out, because again, Wet Band is my home, but Body of Work is my baby. You know, I have to promote my music, and so, you know, you have to, and you guys know, whether it's Rare Essence, I mean, or any band, if their artists within the band are putting out a project, you know, they're not going to be on stage performing the songs from that project unless it's a body of work that's a part of the band, you know what I'm saying, or the band, you know what I'm saying? More than likely, or you might get a song or two.
Yeah, a song or two. You're not gonna get a whole album,
right? And to be fair, Chris has always given me a lot of creative freedom in what band, but it still would be unreasonable to expect me to perform my album at what band shows. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'll be doing, you know, a lot of promotion over the next, you know, few weeks, few months, or however long it takes for me to promote the album. And you know,
well, I wanted to talk to you about your vision going forward with that. So, but I tell you what, let's give the listeners an opportunity to hear certain selections. Do you have anything in particular?
What you want to hear?
Yeah.
First, well, you know what? Why not go first with "Enjoying Myself"? Because,
I was just about to say that.
Because there's a really like special story behind it. If I could give that one really quickly.
Oh, please.
And that a lot of the, you know, all the songs on the album mean something to me, but this one, because this is the latest one that I've posted a snippet of on my page.
Right. The video aspect.
The video, right.
It's great.
I wanted to because because this song in this particular format, because I've been performing it, but in this particular format has been my vision since the very first time I submitted it. But you know, I love my musicians, my web band musicians. Shout out Dave, V-Man, G-Madge, all of the past and former. A lot of guys, you know, even when they're covering something, they kind of like to put their own spin on it. So it never really was quite how musically like that I envisioned it. And the Patrice Rushen, You Remind Me, it's not a sample because it's played live, but they call it, I think it's interpolation or something.
I was going to ask you
I think I'm using the right word, but you know, I actually, you know, went through the right channels and got the rights to use the music from Patrice Rushen's team, from Baby Fingers Music. So all of that's, you know, legit. And the reason why the song meant so much to me is because shout out to UCB. If you guys remember when Sexy Lady came out and that Don't Disturb This Groove guitar riff, that was on the beginning. When I first started, you know, thinking about some of my original songs that I wanted to, like, you know, do for the band, I, you know, thought that was like a really great idea to use a classic, you know, a classic soul music, classic R&B sound, and put original lyrics to it. You could bring back the nostalgia of, you know what I'm saying, and then also add your own spin to it. And
no
Patrice
different from
Rushen,
what these national artists been doing forever.
Right, exactly. And so I you know, I went into my own, like, you know, sort of musical, you know, treasure chest of the things that I like, and thought of my favorite songs growing up, or songs that I knew or whatever. And that Patrice Rushen is like huge. I'm a huge fan of hers. And that song You Remind Me, I love so much. And so when I first submitted it, I submitted it to the band with that song. It was never ever really played that way. And honestly, I think in retrospect, it was a good thing, because I probably would have done it, like, you know, the wrong way, which is they would have played it, you know, absolutely the way it should be, and then we'd have been selling PA CDs with the music on it that I didn't have rights to anyways. And so through this process, I was able to actually get the rights to the music, and you know, people are really, really responding to it, and it's now the song that I've always wanted it to be. So
well, what's great about it, and I've always felt like this from the last version that you had of it, is that
thanks, Ma.
It's perfect for this time of the year. Even more so, you know, in the springtime. It's a spring feel type of song to me, as you know, just in the DJ ear. You know, so we're gonna play that right now. Enjoy Yourself.
Hope
from
you like it,
Michelle
everybody.
Blackwell, brand new CD, Body of Work. And when we come back, We're going to play a couple songs from her new album. And when we come back, she's going to tell you how to get it. All right? Keep it locked right here on GoGo Radio Live, Win DC Radio, all wrapped up in GoWIN.media.
Hey, everybody.
Coming to you live from the shops at Iverson. It is Nico the Go-Gologist along with Miss Lady, and we have the one and only Michelle Blackwell.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Misha Antonette's, Washington, D.C.'s hottest after-hours entertainment venue, where the drinks are strong, ladies are fine. First to the stage we have Miss Michelle Blackwell singing Party Mode. Inside, outside, all I see is eye candy and checking for me. Ain't no slouches in my MOB. Uptown fly, I'm getting money. Straight to the bar and we buying it up. No such thing as an empty cup. If you know, then I know, then you know. My whole city in party mode. In party mode. In party mode. In party mode. No use standing around unless you're faking. If you got a problem with Blackwell, you hating. If you came here to beef, then get the hell out. Don't care if you and your peace just had a falling out. I'm only on drink number 2. Don't have time to be fucking with you if you know. My whole crew's in party mode. In party mode. In party mode.
Y'all gotta listen to this real close. This is my favorite cut on the record. Michelle is gonna give you this run. Stay tuned.
Yeah, look, we doing it for Burn Street, Rittenhouse, Katie Wild, Crittenden, and Rock Creek. It's for my 640, Lord Morton, Hobart, Fairmont, Javon, 14 fella. It's for my Florida Park and 9th Street, N Street, the whole water, the 5th and O, KDP. Y'all know what it is. Uptown be wildin' out, and downtown be wildin' out. To my Riggs Park in Michigan, Trinidad, Mayfair, Paradise. To my Benning Road, Minnesota, Beach Street, Simple City, the whole farm. And to my 58th, 10th Place, 3rd Street, Greenleaf and Galveston, Potomac Gardens. Yeah, you know what it is. Northeast be wildin' out, Southwest, Southeast be wildin' out. Attention, if you're driving a cream colored Range Rover DC tags, there's a young lady outside doing something unmentionable to your vehicle. Yeah, you might want to get outside and handle that. We're trying to keep things grown and sexy up in here, alright? We just got this spot, you dig? Not trying to get shut down, alright? Now listen here, all my life I wanted to rock a party. Work me, work me. All night long, been waiting to shake my body. Hurt me, hurt me. All my life I wanted to rock a party. Work me, work me. All night long, been waiting to shake my booty. Yo, look, this be a go-go. In case you didn't know. And if you don't like go-go, then get your ass on out the door. I said this be a go-go. In case you didn't know. 'Cause if you don't like go-go, then get your ass on out the door. 'Cause this is for my Landover and Palmer Park and Bellhaven, Cap Heights, Glenard, the whole Waldorf, and Glass Manor, and Village Green, Sea Pleasant, and Beacon Woods, 55, 33, 7200. New projects, look, you already know what it is. Berlin and VA be wildin' out, and Blackwell be wildin' out. Hey.
All right, all right, all right. You are in party mode right here on GoWIN Radio Show, right here on GoGo Radio Live, Windy City Radio, all wrapped up in GoWin.media.
Man.
And let me tell you something.
It's my favorite cut.
And for those of you who have not had the great opportunity to check out Michelle's 40-minute musical visual,
I don't know how I missed that.
I'm gonna tell you,
I don't have no idea.
Well, I'm gonna tell you how you can check it out now. Just go to gogoradio.live. It's right there on the homepage.
Yes, please check it out.
And it is something that I really enjoy. It's the first time I haven't seen a live band visual associated with a whole show. I mean, a whole album. And what I mean by that is like Rastus did live at Rhythms. You know,
and Chuck Brown did live
right,
at 930 Club.
Of course, you know, but this is something that you broke it down Beyonce style, which is a great person to be.
Lemonade.
Right.
I'm about to say, hold it down.
Call her Ginger Ale.
Don't have the beehive. Come on, okay,
Ginger Ale. Ginger Ale.
And you kind of did it the same way too, because it was no fanfare behind it.
She was my inspiration. Let me keep that all the way 100. You know what I'm saying? Right. Of course. Yes. She put out a visual album. She's a pioneer. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
She's done it. Nicki Minaj did it. Meek Mill did it. With his last the album before he was incarcerated. And Jay-Z didn't put out a visual album, but he did put out he did it in bits and pieces. But yeah, the visual album was something that I had never and actually Beyonce did it a little bit with the
No, but Lemonade was the first.
The Lemonade was the first real one, but the one prior to that, if you remember, when she dropped her surprise release, it came with videos.
You talking about the one with her and Jay on the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyonce. Every track came with it wasn't Lemonade, it was the one right before.
Right, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It came with visuals. So I just thought that was like a great idea, you know. Yeah. And I've it's not a competitive thing, but I've always, been the type I like to sort of not just draw my inspiration from whatever's going on here in this industry, but in the broader industry as well. Right. So if I'm going to set a bar, or if I'm going to be trying to reach a bar, it's not necessarily going to be one from people who are my comrades. It's going to be from. I widen out my my whole perspective to the entire music industry, and Beyonce is queen, mother.
There was the self-titled Beyonce.
Okay,
right before.
Okay. Yes.
So, and I'm gonna take it back to this once again, and I don't know.
Felicia, don't start nothing now. I'm not trying to have the hive coming after me. I am no ma'am, no ma'am.
And I said that first of all.
No, somebody see what happens.
See, I said that. But I mean, it's
no.
You don't want them.
No, ma'am.
You want them troubles.
somebody gave me told me I had like a L Boogie vibe, and even that was to me too much. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Because I also worship her. Not really, just for the people. You know what I'm saying? I don't really worship, but you know what I'm saying? She's a huge I love her. So.
Thus I played before you. Right, the matter of fact, that was the last song I played before you walked in. Was the "Killing Me Softly."
Yeah, I love Lauren.
Well, that version of yours is like renowned. Like the mix on that joint was so incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody
Dave
loved
did that. Yeah. Shout out Dave.
he listening in on the Go Live radio.
That's what's happening. So, but let's go back to what we were talking about with the album, the Party Mode. This version of it. We was talking off air. The original version that what band put out was one of my favorites, along with another track we're going to talk about after we talk about this one.
Okay,
is Party Mode, and I always said that right there has not a national appeal but a worldwide appeal.
Bad.
The way it was played, and just the energy of it, and the wording of the music and whatnot, is catchy. Everybody can get with it. So I always told you got to do something with this.
Right.
But when you come out with the album, you flipped it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So tell us about the inspiration behind that.
If you notice, with Party Mode, with Enjoy Myself, Reminisce, and Get Me. Because I was bringing.
But this more so than anything else.
Yeah.
You flipped it inside out.
I flipped it inside out. But what I wanted to do was, if I was going to, because I was torn whether or not I was going to include some of those songs on this album, because I was like, I know people are going to want new music. Right. But I also know that people are going to want their favorites too. Right. So I said, well, I didn't want to be redundant. So let me just try something different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just, again, I like to show people who like to sort of there isn't just a snob. I want to say, okay, I guess I use the word snobbery. To me, there's kind of a snobbery when it comes to go-go music. You know, when it comes to musicians, sometimes when it comes to go-go, they're like, I'm not just a go-go musician or some, which is nothing wrong with just not being just a go-go musician, but I wanted to show that there's artistry in go-go and, you know what I'm saying, obviously in jazz, and that they can be fused. I mean, Chuck Brown did it for years, and so I wanted to show that they could go together, just like, you know.
But why that song? Because
you know why? Because it was such a hard thing to do. Like, you can't, to take a break beat, a song that has a break beat, and put a standard jazz flavor to it. It's just so bizarre that I felt like I just wanted to go. I mean, you've heard it done. Like I said, Chuck Brown has done standards. Jazz.
No, I love it. I love it. It's just great. Like I'm trying to see what's the thinking behind the what do they call it, the ingenious scientists. You know what I'm saying? Or the genius scientist, whatever. You know.
The mad scientist.
Yeah, the mad. Thank you.
I just
what was
wanted
the thinking
to do
behind
something
it? Because
totally
that was
outside of the box.
That is a what band standard, like you said.
Right.
But yet you flipped it, and what made it even better, and what I was alluding to from the beginning, is the visual. Where did the thinking come from with doing the old Cotton Club feel?
Right. The music. I mean, that's
absolutely that was. I mean, you know, and of course, if you heard my intro to the song,
change the name.
You know, when I talked about that. Well, actually, just so you guys know, the word, the title that I gave to the After Hours spot, Misha Antoinette. When I was growing up, nobody called me Michelle. My mom named me Misha. Michelle Antoinette is the name, is my first cousin's name. One of my mom's sisters named her daughter Michelle Antoinette, and my mom named me after her. So I guess, I don't know if this was the reason why, but growing up, she gave me the nickname Misha. And everybody called me Misha. Everybody, like from teachers to my family, friends, nobody called me. People didn't start calling me Michelle until I got like, you know, like.
So you start calling yourself.
Right. Or like in school, you know what I'm saying? They didn't call me Misha, but I mean like close family and friends and people in you know, my inner circle, they all called me Misha. And incidentally, the word Misha, that name came from she got it from you know, Mikhail Baryshnikov. His nickname is also Misha.
Yeah.
And I was in dance, you know, performing arts. So I thought that was kind of wild, because that was before all of that. Before I discovered that I loved performing arts, they would still call me Misha. And Antoinette is my middle name, so Misha Antoinette. That's how that came to be.
Okay.
But yeah, and remember, and you see, I have sort of a love for that, because when I did
the Lincoln Theater.
I did the Lincoln Theater.
Yeah, that's why I was just getting ready to come with that.
Juke joint, you know, and it kind of
that was one of the most iconic moments in go. I can actually say that, because people still look at that video, and I wish it was shot right.
Well,
you know, I'm just saying, because they didn't know, because you made it a surprise on everybody. Nobody knew it was coming.
Right.
And when you did it,
I'm good at that. Virgos are good at surprises. And that's what I do have in common with B, is that she's a Virgo too. I think we keep stuff real close to our.
And I worked that event, and I didn't know. I worked it, and I was backstage where I was like, "This is incredible." And a lot of people talk about that performance from what band, from the Lincoln Theater.
Yeah, because even if you were in it, like Kyle was in it, I didn't say nothing. I was like, "What you need a jumper for, though?" Like, where are we gonna find a jumper for you, sir? He was like, "Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that."
Yeah, I ended up having to order a lot of the stuff online. Like I ordered their jumpers, I ordered those hats, my little, you know, outfit. The extras, they you know, they got their own stuff or whatever, but yeah, and you know, that's my whole performing arts thing. I had to bring all that into it.
And so goes back, all this revolves back around the album. As far as your influences.
You told me I need to tell people where to get it.
No, we definitely, you know, well, we can get to that, because Miss Lady and I, we have a couple of questions about that as well. So I want to spend a little bit more centered time around that.
All right.
But as far as talking about Party Mode, and the visual aspect, the way you did that, and the other.
Hey, Chris. Thank you.
The other videos that you got going on. What really makes it unique is the fact that it felt like you had different experiences that you molded. Do you have experience in playwright?
Yes, I do have experiences. In fact, I know Tasha's probably about to side smack me because I put together a go-go musical a few years ago. That's another one of my projects.
Go-go opera.
A go-go opera. But you know what's so funny is that is another example of me taking on things and me being so overwhelmed and having to step away from something that's like my baby in order to manage, you know what I'm saying, my band situation, you know what I'm saying? And I regret that. Like, but first of all, yes, I have written a play. You know, I am a writer. My mom is a writer. My grandfather's like, it's like, that's kind of a thing that comes in the family. It's just mine's turned to, you know, toward music. But yes, I do write, and I've been in performing arts my whole life. I've been in many plays. You know, that's kind of where I started. Howard University Children's Theater, we used to do a whole lot of performances, stage plays. When I was dancing for Laverne Reed. She was all about the plays, and you know, before John Carroll High School, before they went co-ed, they used to do spring plays and Christmas plays, and they used to have outside girls come in and audition to be a part of their plays. I was always doing that. My brother went to Carroll, and so yeah, performing arts has just been a huge part of my life since I was a child. So yeah, incorporating that into this album with that party mode visual was just you know, it was sort of an homage to the Juke Joint show, and also just to, like, you know, show it up, like stage it up a little bit. So I enjoyed that.
I cringe at, like, every time someone says, like, first, you know, when they call, well, you know, shout out the gang and, you know, all the people that are going to participate in the gigs.
Right.
And they say, you know, first ever go-go stage play, and I'll be looking at Nico like,
I know. I know people on my timeline, people on my social media pages. You guys, I know you guys remember when I first announced that I was going to be doing the go-go musical and that I was going to be having open auditions.
You talked about that when you was on the station.
And we had actually gotten into production, you know, and we haven't, and we never finished. But I just want to say right here now that we are going back to that. We are not.
I still got the skit.
I am not tabling or shelving, because guess what? Without having to reveal anything, Tasha knows, because she's read the script, that Go is still nothing like anything that you've seen on the entire storyline. Nothing is like it has nothing to do with any of these stage plays that you've seen.
Nothing.
So it's not going to necessarily clash with or it's not going to
be able to be compared to
be compared to anything, because it's you know, again, without getting into the storyline, it has absolutely nothing to do with anything that you've seen or that you're about to see or anything. So we can still do the musical. And now again, since I'm much more, you know, in charge of and at the forefront of my scheduling and all that kind of stuff, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it, sis. I promise. I'm on it. No, because she knows, like, that for so many reasons, just like this album is a play that needed to be happening. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to reveal again why, but I'm telling you, you know, and I'm telling everybody out there that's watching, I want you guys to stay tuned for that, because the play is going to happen. We're talking about, what was it, 2015, 2016?
What's this, 18? So this,
I think it was 2015. Yeah, it was 2015. Yeah, 2015 when I made the announcement about the play.
You was talking about that before?
No. It was I think it was 2015.
Okay.
It was around then. It was right before. It was a year before What got back together. So it was around the 2014, 2015 timeline.
Right.
But that play is going to happen. It's going to happen. I promise you guys. And you're going to love it. Well, I'm not going to shelve that play.
Well, you talking about things that you've had in production that I've been encouraging you about for a while, and so we're talking about party mode.
Thanks, Gigi. Love you.
Let's talk about what I thought was a major smash for you, and is Let's Go.
Let's Go.
Let's Go was something that you wrote. It was a baby of yours, and we used to talk about when you used to have your own show here, right here on GoGo Radio. Is that was something you really wanted to, you had something in mind you wanted to do with it.
Right.
and you never alluded to it.
Okay.
With me, at least.
I'm trying to remember because that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
Probably a few shots ago. But here's the reason why I didn't, because Latasha just. I remember that when they brought it up during the break. At first, my first instinct was like, wait a minute, why didn't I do it? But then I remembered that I did think about the song "Let's Go." And all what fans, you guys know what I'm talking about. The song "Let's Go" is a real popular song with what that we created. But the reason why I didn't necessarily want to include that song on the album is because when we created that song, or when I brought the song to the band, this was like during a really, really rough. Everything okay? All right now, cause look, right? Ain't nobody got time for that shit. Right.
I locked the door.
I don't want to go there, but I'm trying to make sure I'm cool with it. Right. Never mind. Okay. How are you? All right, now back to the get back.
Right.
What was the question? So,
right.
No, let's go.
Right, let's go.
Because when we created that, because when I brought the song to the band, we were going through like a crisis. Like the band was in one of the worst crises that we had been in ever, internally, and literally like we're on the verge of breaking up. And Joel's father, who's a pastor, came to one of our rehearsals and prayed with the band, prayed over the band, you know, because it had rolled all over into social media. It was really ugly, and we had like a practice meeting sort of thing, and Joel's dad came out and prayed over us, and after he prayed over us, we created "Let's Go," and so.
Wow! Right after that.
Right after it, we created it. Like I had already had it in my mind because if anybody knows, you know, when you was in high school, especially the girls that, oh, let's go, hey, all right. So I always had, you know what I'm saying, that's where the idea for it came from. But I brought it to the band, and oh my goodness. Just so you know, the selfie angle is the one that's gonna is please from the top down.
Come
like
from this side.
Right. No. I mean like from above.
Okay.
Not that far above.
Not straight on.
Yes, exactly. There you go. I'm a control freak. I'm sorry. So, anyways, so we all created that together. Cal put together a verse. Chris put his spin on the what you mean you don't know on the and all that, and I did my verses, and that's something that we did together. And Cal. And of course, all of the songs that we have are originals. We all kind of play a part. And I redid that with Party Mode. Of course, I turned the parts that Cal used to do into like display parts and stuff like that. And with Get Me, I kind of remixed that. But with Let's Go, I really didn't want to tamper with it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to just leave it as it is because of the meaning behind it. Like, you know, the history behind the making of that song. It involved. It was like a turning point for the band, and we all did that together, like, and it was a moment. And I didn't want to some things you don't necessarily want to recreate.
Understood.
But who knows? Maybe we can all get together and do it in the studio.
That would be great.
Me, Chris, and Cal, and get the musicians and get together and make that happen.
That would be great. So, but speaking of something that nobody had heard prior, and me and Miss Lady, we talked about this a little bit. So we want to talk about the first single on the album, and that's "This Be Go Go." Okay. And so I want to play it for the listening audience first and the watching audience right here. And I want people to, for those of you tuned in right now, you tuned in to the GoWIN radio show right here on GoGo Radio Live, WIN DC Radio, all wrapped up in GoWIN.media. And we have the one and only Michelle Blackwell here talking about her brand new project called Body of Work. And this right here is the very first song on it.
God is everything, Gigi. I'm sorry.
And you know what? We can also talk about the actual intro piece. We wanted to get the vision. Yes, we want to get the vision behind that as well. Right. But this right here, and we played that earlier. But this right here is interesting within itself, and we're gonna talk about that when we come back. All right, keep it locked right here. GoWIN radio show.
Hey, Michelle, tell them get their pens and their pads together. Trying to school them on this little go-go thing, you know?
Everybody wanna know what be go-go, but you have to learn it for yourself to behold. Have to get in the mix, all up in the flow. On the mark, ready, get set, here we go. It starts with the right beat, never ending. At a catchy hook that's original trending. Heavy your percussion and move your body. Turn them on the flow, start the party. Closer to the stage, it's the pit, it's rowdy. Closer to the back, it's the grown and sexy. And up on the stage, it's a live band only. When the drummer clicks, sticks, everybody gets lit.
I pledge allegiance to the crank. I want the whole damn party to raise your drinks to every man, lady, band member, boys and girls. We telling everybody all around the world that this be go-go, 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 this be go-go. Hey, 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 hey.
If you will turn to the next chapter, but you do not have to read aloud. Resume.
Everybody wanna know what be go-go. It's a little bit of everything, don't you know? Jazz, blues, rap, reggae, and rock and roll. Beat don't stop until the IHOP close. And it's a rhythm that controls your body. A lot of people tried it, but it's hard to copy. And if you fuck it up, we'll all come dragging. In the DMV, we call that slumming. Whoa.
I pledge allegiance to the crank. I want the whole damn party to raise your drinks to every man, lady, band member, boys and girls. We telling everybody all around the world that this be go-go, 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 this be go-go. Hey, 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 hey. Raise your drinks to every man, lady, band member, boys and girls. We telling everybody all around the world that this be go-go, 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 this be go-go. Hey, 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 hey.
You tuned right here to the GoWIN Radio Show right here on GoGo Radio Live, Win DC Radio, all wrapped up in GoWIN.media. That there was This Be Go-Go by Michelle Blackwell, featuring my main man Chopper Black.
Absolutely. Shout out, Chopper.
And we're talking about her right here with the last 45 minutes about her brand new piece, Body of Work. You want to take the lead? You want to run?
So, okay. So, when you say This Be Go-Go, to the normal listener, whether they know Go-Go or not, so let's just say for the person that doesn't know Go-Go, to you, would this be an exact representation of what Go-Go is?
So glad you asked that question, because
that's what we do.
I had the biggest and understandable, because I knew that there would be probable backlash behind me choosing this particular kind of song to illustrate This Be Go-Go. And in fact, one of the musicians that are on this record, when I first played it for him and gave him my ID, he was like, but that's not Go-Go. And I was like, but Drew, because it was Drew. Okay. And me and Drew have the best debates and arguments ever.
I also look like y'all have a great relationship, but we're gonna talk about that too.
But I mean,
no, I'm talking about on the visual side.
But that's because, but understand something, we do, but we are able to keep it 100 with each other, and we, you know what I'm saying, we might bump heads, but it's always over music. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, even if it's a struggle, it's about product and putting out the best music,
the betterment,
whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, so the reason why, and actually it's the reason why I chose this reggaeton undertone is because I wanted this particular song, because I knew that if I put out a This Be Go-Go song, or I felt if I put out a song that's explaining what go-go is over a socket, a break beat, a bounce beat, a pocket, then I would be preaching to the choir. You know what I'm saying? The same people who I'm trying to get the message out to wouldn't necessarily be, as receptive to, because it's the BPMs, it's the way it's presented, they just do not necessarily understand it. But if you notice, the song starts with the Congo. You know, when I say once the verse starts, as a matter of fact, I think it starts once, I'm not sure, I think the Congo start either on my verse, but it's before the music comes in, and there's a Congo beat, there's a Congo playing throughout, and when after the Pledge of Allegiance, there's a tambali beat throughout, and then at the end of the song, it breaks into just full live percussion, go-go, quote unquote. So my theory was this, with this particular song, like I said, my theory was this: if we can hear a song like Crazy in Love or This Is Something and say, that's go-go, you know what I'm saying? Even though other people might not know it's go-go, but we know that it's go-go. I wanted to do a song that I feel like what might be palatable outside of the area, or I had in mind people who don't know anything about it, you know what I'm saying? And I chose this sort of international music, which reggaeton is, and infused it with go-go, because if you really listen, like I said, like if another artist outside of this area had put that track out, then we would have been able to say, that's go-go. Even if he had said nothing about go-go. Right. Because we would have heard the little things that we listen for when it comes to outside artists doing music and throw some go-go feels and infusions in there. Right. But because it's me, I know that people were like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they're expecting it to be go-go. You know what I'm saying? And the same applies, honestly, to... Well, not necessarily speaking, but there are a couple other songs. I mean, I played a couple of these tracks for some people just to like to get their opinion of it a while back, and their first response when they heard like "Ride It Out" was, "I thought you said this was gonna all be go-go. That's not even really go-go for real." And it is. It's the what you wash your body with beat, literally.
Cameo all over.
The cameo all over beat, literally. And Future Husband is a pocket. Calling You Out is another pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so one thing I got from this album, listening to it, and I thought that you had shown so many different sides of you on this album, all different types of go-go infusion to it. There was never one lane, you know, that you saw repeated with this album. Like, you know, each track had its own signature feel to it, except for one. Not the track itself, but the only one thing I thought was missing from it. And I wanted to ask you a question on it.
Okay.
Why didn't you put one live track on here?
Oh,
just
man,
one.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
He did ask that. He was like, "It should have been a live."
Yeah, I mean because of just what I said. Because
so
you showed so many different sides.
The same reason why you didn't see a live visual, and here's why. So you opened up a little can on that one, but it needs
hey, that's what we do.
No, but I need to go ahead and say it because I mean, and it's really not messy or drama filled. But the reason why you didn't have a live track or a live visual on this album is because I wanted the entire situation for me having a visual to be a surprise, number one. Everybody knew that I was doing body of work.
Right.
They knew I was working on my album, so that part wouldn't be a surprise, but it wouldn't necessarily be a surprise. Even This Be Go-Go was it was like a closed video shoot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And we appreciate the backdrop of it right there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'll give you my Walker Reds. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But had I done a live, you know what I'm saying? How do you do a live recording without an audience? And where do you do a live recording with the audience if you're not performing? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't performing after September. I had not finished my album, mind you. I still had a couple more songs to be laid down. And prior to that, I told you that my focus was off. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't necessarily focusing on, you know, as much as I should have been finishing the album. I reconciled that because trust me, it was a source of stress and anxiety for me too. You know what I'm saying? Not having a live song. But you know, when Wet Band put out our last CD, we had a live and a studio sort of aspect to it. And then this is not the last album I plan on putting out either. So I'm going to have some live, if not the entire thing. I mean, live is go-go. So obviously that component was missing. But again,
if not just a live version of one of those songs.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you know.
But then again, of one of those songs,
yes,
right? But you're talking about, but again, I wanted to do another. I didn't want to put out an album with the same version. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of the songs. Right. I wanted to do something different. Otherwise, what are they paying for? You know what I'm saying?
No. I appreciate it. I just, you know, the reason why I broke it down the way I did, so dang, she came this way, you know. So I mean, if we had the time, like each song. My mom
just chimed in and said she wanted to remind you to don't forget about the spoken word piece.
Oh, okay. Well, exactly, you're making my point for me. Each song came from a different way.
Right.
You know, and it felt like a different part of your life, a different time and space in your life. You know, and so, no?
I don't know about that part. Okay. Because it's been
looking too deep into it.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's I've been working on the album for a couple years, it's pretty much still been from
same place,
just about the same headspace, you could say, because yeah,
that's what I get from it too. I don't get you know how you have some records and you be like, oh, this one she was in love,
right?
This one, you know, they was going through divorce, and this one when she first started, and this one might have been, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really get what I don't know what he talking about, but I don't really get that. I get, you know what I'm saying, you know, just like you said, all in the same headspace. But I wanted to touch back on This Be Go-Go. So when I look at a song and it's telling us exactly what something is, so I look at a teacher. So when I hear Chopper Black saying, hey, we about to school them, what made you pick Chopper Black to school? Because one would think, let me go with an old head.
Old head, absolutely. You know? The reason why I picked Chopper Black, first of all,
and who is he? Who is Chopper Black?
Chopper Black is the rapper for Reaction Band.
Okay.
And Chopper Black actually have been reaching out for a long time to work with me. You know what I'm saying? To work with me. And
he is an extremely like talented dude. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you know, I noticed now over the past few years that a lot of the other bands have, besides of course like Backyard, who they don't, you know, ever switch members, but I noticed that a lot of the bands have trended in the same direction that what was many years ago when we were, you know, grabbing a lot of younger musicians and younger players. You know what I'm saying? Right. Is that there's a wealth of talent in a lot of these bounce beat and younger bands that are ignored by some because they might think that they're not necessarily on a level, but they are mega talented. And you know, Chopper had been reaching out, you know, for a long time to work with me, and so when I did this album, and since then had gotten up on the stage with What Band a couple times and like killed it. He has great stage presence. He's like really, really creative. I loved his flow and everything. So when I reached out to him about the track, he was like almost like, yeah, let me show you. Like, even though I already knew, he was like, let me show you like what's really good. And he came in the studio and killed it. In fact, Chopper Black is the reason for that classroom scene, because when he laid down his vocals, he made a reference to classes back in session. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that'd be a great visual. You know what I'm saying? Us doing a classroom scene. And, you know, we've always talked about, you know, having go-go, and people have made steps to having go-go as part of a curriculum, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, he's...
Shout out to Charles Stevenson. We just had them in there talking about putting go-go back in the schools, and he's attempting at that. So, so speaking of, okay, so let me make my point again then. Where was, since you're going to try to poo-poo me,
I didn't say anything.
Where was your headspace with Dear Future Husband?
Oh, my goodness. Y'all want the truth?
Hey, that's what you're here for.
Okay. And I was, well.
Should we play it first? Should we play it first?
Go ahead and play it.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Michelle, I'm going to let you introduce it. So, yeah, I'm going to give you your radio chops back.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure which track this is. And
No, this is Dear Future Husband.
No, which number on the CD.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of the CD, if you want to purchase the CD, you can go to michelleblackwellmusic.biz/store. This song he's about to play, Dear Future Husband, is one of the most emotional experiences I had as far as writing for a song on this
track
CD.
Number 8.
And it's track number 8. And
there it goes, sis.
Here it is. Take a listen.
So hard to find this magical enigma. We're so heavily on my mind. Remembering when it was easy, just went wherever my heart led. A young, naive, in love idealist. Let the unworthy leave my soul for dead. But then you came around, didn't tear it down, but climbed over my wall. And help me face it, that's when bricks began to fall. Like self-doubt, insecurity, guilt, fear, pain, ignorance, self-neglect, selfishness and shame. Replaced it with self-love, security, forgiveness, courage, peace, wisdom and self-maintenance, kindness and release. Easy does it now. No need to get rowdy no more. The chains is broken now. Ice
see clearly and partially what's me. Seeking eternity in flawed earthlings. I need godlings, a wide open God being launching to support me. My hopes, my dreams. When my soul was broken, I attracted brokenness. Now wholeness attracted someone that gives me all their best. Beauty is my name, my mates, my mirror. Whenever there be doubt, he just pulls me nearer. My hero, his shero. We 180. Turned away from crumble out and off we go.
And you came around
and didn't tear it down, but climbed over my wall.
Took my hand and then you turned me round
and helped me face it. That's when bricks began to fall. Likeness, Blackwell must confess, resulted in actions, emotions used to manifest. I was festering in counteractive energy. My reality TV, self-fulfilling prophecy. Now I prophesy abundance and new bliss. Ramallah was my passage name, it means prophetess. I manifested this using my inner eye. I no longer shy away from my destiny. My king, he be kinging, his queen, I'm queening. Together forever in love, I claim it, now I see it. Not to mention we in ultra Kama Sutra zones. When we make love, we makes love. We revel levels, intensity on high. Hard to come back down to earth. Wonders never cease when a woman knows her worth. Life's rearranged, but now in proper order. This. Yo. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
See, this is what we talk about right here. She did not lose her roots. She did not lose her roots.
Most of the songs that are questionable in the same way any go-go song breaks live is with the beat. Even with Calling You Out, you know what I'm saying? All of them do.
Yeah.
I was strategic now.
All right. You tuned in right here on the GoWIN radio show right here on GoGo Radio Live, Windy C Radio, all wrapped up in GoWIN.media. We sitting here with the one and only Michelle Blackwell talking about her brand new project, Body of Work. But don't forget, right after this show, 2 o'clock, we have Talk with Tayo. Talk with Tayo, that's from 2 to 4 p.m. right here. Her special guest this week is Millicent Johnson Edgar, and she will be discussing care for homebound family members. If you or someone you know is homebound or caring for someone who is, you will not want to miss this show, all right? So keep it locked right here for Talk with Tayo. All right, so Michelle.
Yes.
Tell us about this right here.
Okay, so this song.
Dear Future Husband.
Dear Future Husband.
I'm glad you ain't say Dear Future Bae.
Girl, we got enough of that.
Right.
Anyway, that's when they doing it for the gram and all that.
Right,
And
right.
I've been there and done that.
Right.
Been there, done it. Then that led to there. Anyway.
Right.
So Dear Future Husband. This song came about. First of all, obviously, you see a lot of Dear Future Husbands on social media. Like, you see sometimes people post, Dear Future Husband, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And actually, there was one in my news feed that I used to see all the time from the same young lady. And at first, I was like, I would be kind of, you know what I'm saying, embarrassed to keep, like, putting it out there, making it seem like, you know what I'm saying, I'm desperate or I'm trying to, put it, whatever. But after a while, I really admired her courage, you know what I'm saying, for putting it out there, like, yes, I am single. Because, especially for women, after a certain age or after a certain time in your life,
people start to kind of look at you weird. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't been married yet, like there's like a stigma there that you know, because you haven't. Even though we're surrounded by a lot of people who've been married and divorced 3 times by now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And not necessarily in happy or faithful or loving marriages. Just the institution of marriage, you know, is something that people aspire to. And if you have not achieved that, then there is, you know, a stigma attached to it. So I admired her courage, you know what I'm saying, for being able to, like, you know, say, I don't really care what people think. I'm writing a letter to my future husband and putting it out in the atmosphere for it to come back to me. And I do believe in energy. I do believe in putting out, if you put it out, then it will come back in the universe, whether it's negative or positive. And so with that in mind, when I get a track, I'm gonna try to move it fast too. And when I get a track, I never know what I'm going to write about until the words come to me based on what it is. I never I want to write a song about this, and then I get the music. It's always the opposite. Whenever I hear music, then it comes to me, unless it's with, you know, unless it was with what they didn't give me tracks, I came up with it that way. But anyway, so when I started to write the song, when I realized that it was going to be me writing a letter to or dear future husband, I was going through one of the most gut-wrenching heartbreaks, you know what I'm saying, in my adult life. I had just gotten out of a 4-year relationship, and I was, you know, even though it was my choice, it was still heartbreaking because at no point in your life do you have time to waste. But we're talking about as a grown ass, you know what I'm saying, woman, for me to have invested 4 years of my life into a relationship and that it did not work, at this point, it was devastating. It wasn't necessarily just devastating because of the, you know what I'm saying, because it was so great, because if it was, then I wouldn't have walked away. But I was devastated because, you know, I am so ideal. I'm like a hopeless romantic, you know, and so idealistic when it comes to and if you heard in my first verse, I said, you know, when I said how it used to be easy for me, and I was an idealist, you know, and you know that people left my soul for dead. Like, that's how I felt, you know what I'm saying, that I poured myself into different relationships and to people who kind of left me, you know what I'm saying, my spirit like empty in a way when it comes to that. So I was in a really, really bad place. And then, but again, being still this, you know, optimist, you know, when it comes to the fact that, I mean, I've, you know, always seen myself as someone who is a relationship person, you know what I'm saying? So I still saw it in my future. So when I came up with the idea and I started writing it, like, I was like crying the entire time I wrote the song, but I was crying not just because I was sad, but because I literally envisioned like this scenario where I was writing, like, where I was telling this man that I felt like I already loved. Like, I really like it was like I don't know, it was really weird. Like, I felt like like I was really writing it to this person. Like, I was seeing it in my head, and so it was just really a bizarre moment, you know what I'm saying, when I wrote this song, because I, you know, was claiming and like envisioning that future, like, you know what I'm saying, but at the same time crushed, you know what I'm saying, because of what happened back. So it was like I was going through this like weird, I don't know, schizo moment when I was having both things going on at the same time. So, but it was therapeutic for me. Like, it was a healing thing. So, dear future husband, I mean, you know, that's how it.
Thus, I was saying earlier that it felt like you was going through different periods in your life.
True, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm in a different space, you know what I'm saying, now, or, you know, during the other processes of writing the song. Like, I'm not, you know, that relationship ended then, but that doesn't necessarily mean that my love life has been any less tumultuous, you know what I'm saying, or that I have, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
No.
I just got from it.
No, actually, it was a dig at Miss Lady.
And also that visual is coming. I am doing the visual to that.
Oh.
I did not include that on this album for a few reasons, but I am doing the visual to that song,
Definitely
and as well as God Works and Get Me. I'm doing the visuals for all those songs.
It's a little different. Like the Dear Future Husband is like an adult version of what kids think that you know what I'm saying, your prince and your shining armor would be. It's like an adult version of that. Like I already know myself. Right. Yep. Like when you're a kid, you don't know who you are.
And I took responsibilities for my part in it. You know what I'm saying? In that song, I said, if I see clearly it partially was me. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, if you I know it's ringing. I'm sorry. Honestly, if you listen to the song, I'm basically talking about how it was really me, like self-love. Like now that I'm seeing what it is that was wrong with, what I'm saying, that was going on with me, that those walls were breaking down. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, he may have helped me see things in a way, but I mean, it was just because I was able to see myself and love myself in a way that I wasn't doing prior. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's what helped me find someone that was worthy of, the love that I was trying to get.
When you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
Very significant song on the CD, so I encourage everybody to check that song out multiple times.
Right, and then speaking of the past, we're going to go into the What Band Reminisce.
Yeah. Good job.
Speaking of the past, right? Speaking of the past, we're going to go, where did Reminisce come from? I know we speak about, us as a black culture and the go-go culture, we always say, rest in peace. Everybody says it, but, we kind of do it in a different way. Right. You know what I'm saying? We celebrate when they say, don't cry, don't shed a tear. We kind of celebrate that. Right. So is that where the basis of Reminisce came from?
Yeah, the basis of Reminisce came from, and again, if you look at the visual, the Coolie High reference, they started it with It's So Hard to Say Goodbye. And then the other song that came out with the guys, this song's dedicated to my homies.
The homie.
Oh, right. And
what's the H-Town?
Baby.
No, it was like a rap group sort
of. It's Bone Thugs.
Bone Thugs? I don't know who it was, but I know it, but Go-Go didn't have a song like that. And I felt like Go-Go needed one. And when I reached out to Cal, you know what I'm saying, to put a 16 on it, first of all, I already knew that he was going to kill it, but I still, you know what I'm saying, because I had been doing this song for a minute, it means a lot to people. I mean, I didn't know what people's response would be necessarily because they're just so used to the song the way it is. But Cal, elevated the song, and, to me, now when I listen to it, I feel like I can't, you know what I'm saying, it's got to be that, you know what I'm saying? Right. So when I do this release party, best believe I'm going to do it in a way, on a day and at the time when the features on this album will be there like Cal, because I mean people absolutely flipped out when I posted a clip. A lot of people must not know about the visual because when I post these clips, they didn't, you know what I'm saying? But when I posted that clip of Cal's verse on Reminisce, people flipped all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a song that's near and dear to a lot of people.
Well, and what's sad about it, the reference to what the song is about is almost now becoming an anthem within go-go. Yeah. And
you have more people saying, rest in peace to such and such, then it's my birthday. Right. You know what I'm saying? Give me a birthday shout out. It's more like
that Reminisce. That shout out to my homie. It's almost
and it was
DRS
Gangsta Lean.
Oh, okay. There you go.
That's the song, right? Yeah, Go-Go needed a song like that because unfortunately, we've lost a lot of people too.
And that's what make it. That's what make the song just that much more powerful. Where we would play somebody else's version, your song is a staple. Unfortunately, when somebody passes within the go-go community, or just our friends that that are within the go-go community. Right. Yeah. So.
Well, make sure you swap out the old.
Oh yeah. No, we on it.
One with Cal.
We on it. We on it. No doubt. No doubt. You only have to make sure that it's done.
Kill us all his. Hey, I'm gonna have a problem. I'm making a phone call.
So, a lot of people. Well, I can't speak because I don't know your team that be around you like that. The Glam Squad and all of them. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people.
Shout out Glam Squad.
My time with you, I understand that you have a serious Afrocentric side of you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking.
Right, hence the bush. Yeah. I mean, are you saying that?
Well, no, I'm just talking about your conversation. We can really go deep, talking about that side of things, and
just pro-black.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it, I'm sure, is influenced by your church.
It's influenced by my church, from Union Temple Baptist Church. Yeah, I mean, it's influenced. But let me just start with my grandmother. It's so funny. I just really quickly let me touch on this because I was just talking to my aunt the other day about how much I grew up and took for granted that I grew up around such like pioneering black women and people, period, not even really realizing who they were in the movement. But to me, like Dovey Roundtree, who just passed, she's like a civil rights icon. And if you Google her, in fact, when she passed, she's one of my grandmother's closest friends. She just passed away at 104. But when I looked on, I went on the Twitter the night that she died. She was trending on the U.S. Twitter. Like I don't remember. It was like number 10. Or if you Google Dovey Roundtree. And so, anyways, you will see all about her. She was like a dynamic woman. She was an attorney, civil rights. She was in the military. Like she did a lot of first this and that. And I grew up with that kind of language, when it comes to social issues with African Americans and
the connection with the black church with
the
that
history
as well.
that you don't learn in books and in school. Like again, Union Temple. When I was growing up, going to Union Temple over on W Street at the Red Church, is the old church.
Right.
I mean, this is the first time I'd ever seen a black Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Right. In the mural behind the pastor, and this was not the one over at the new church, but at the old church. Yeah. And he always incorporated our history as pre-colonial history, as far as our history in Africa, in his sermons. And was always very, very adamant about pride in self and knowledge of self and just knowing your history and stuff like that. And of course, my grandmother, again, came up and was very active in like the civil rights era. Like, so that's always been like a part of me, even though I had my knucklehead phases, coming up and wasn't necessarily, marching, my entire youth and life and on the front lines of, human rights and civil rights. But I've always been conscious and aware of, where we've been and where we need to go. But what made you ask for that?
Well, I wanted to lead into, because I know your bonus track on your CD.
God Works.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you rarely see someone. It's either whatever the genre is, it's either that kind of album or it's just you never really see someone. You have people that do inspirational music, but you never really see someone put a titled song. God Works on a non-gospel
secular album.
Yeah, on a secular
and that
album.
was another, like, I wrestled with this too. It wasn't an easy decision to make. One of the guys who is on the praise and worship, I'm not on the praise and worship team anymore, but when I was on the praise and worship team at Union Temple a year or so ago, I actually reached out to him about this song for a couple of reasons. And one of them was I wanted his advice on whether or not I should include it on this album, because I didn't want to offend anybody, and I did not want to. I didn't want to offend anybody, but I know that God is a huge reason why I was able to do so much with this album in my life. Period. Like, God is a huge part of my life, and has saved me in so many different ways. And so that was the other side of me saying, well, I should be able to include it. And plus, I'm a huge fan of Fantasia, and people criticize her a lot because, at her shows, she could have on her sequin gown or her sequin this and that.
Yep.
And she will break out into praise moments like it's nothing.
All the time.
And
she's
people
anointed.
criticize her constantly. And think about Yanni when she first was with when she was first on Sunday's Best. You know how much time I spent in them little chat rooms going at? I mean, I was like I was part of a whole clique and crew. We had our own little it was the Yanni Hive that was defending her when people were talking about how is she with this go-go band, but she's on Sunday's Best. So I mean, I knew that it might rub some people the wrong way, but I mean, sometimes you have to meet people where they are, and I am not a gospel artist, but I wanted to do something for and give thanks to the one that made it all possible. And the song itself, I think, is one that is needed for this time because it just talks about kind of enduring and being strong and knowing that there's a higher power that lives in you that can, help you through it.
And that's what I really took from it, as the fact that you wasn't overly churchy, so to speak, in the song.
I mean, it was victory. That's a homegrown joint. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I said it wasn't overly,
I mean, it was perfect. I mean, I don't know what overly churchy is. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that too, but I was like, you know what? When I was growing up, it just I wanted to, because sometimes you gotta take it back. You know what I'm saying? A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them joints without no music.
You know what I'm saying? So the victory is mine part. I put that in the end because that just takes
you finish. It's like you finished the last track. I know you probably like, I'm done.
I call those old songs. I call that old time religion.
It is.
When you hear certain gospel songs, you know what I'm saying? It just takes you to a place. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I wanted to incorporate that victory is mine in the end of God Works, because it just it speaks to that sometimes you just need that old time religion. So he will never leave us or forsake us. No, he won't. Absolutely.
Well, that's like Miss Lady was saying earlier. That's symptomatic for the fact that that's a bonus track.
Yes, and it's free to download. By the way, if you go to Michelle Blackwell music.biz/store. God Works is a bonus track that you can upload for absolutely free.
So that's why we ain't gonna play it here. You can get it yourself.
There it is. That's right.
You can get it yourself.
And I hope you enjoy it. I had some gospel go-go band people inboxing me and telling me that they really loved it, and
good.
I was like, again, I was kind of concerned on what the response would be.
So real quick before we get out of here,
thank you, James.
What is the immediate future for Michelle Blackwell right now? When you step out of this door, what is Michelle Blackwell?
I gotta go get my brakes fixed first, and then and grab a bite to eat. But no, so yeah, I am locking down my album release party.
Okay.
Situation. I don't want to make any announcements about it until everything is inked.
Hopefully we can get that announcement right here. Yeah.
Sure.
In some type of way.
It'll be soon, very, very soon, over the next couple days. It's going to be I know it's going to be the last weekend in June.
Okay.
It's going to be a few weeks away. I'm talking to some people. I'm going to be doing some promotion for this album. I'm going to be gigging here. I'm going to be gigging there and
everywhere.
Yeah. You being a little tight-lipped over there.
You know what?
Are you superstitious?
I'm not superstitious, but I'm gonna tell you something.
You gotta claim it.
And I'm that too. But there's a certain thing out in the atmosphere sometimes where you put something out there and people, y'all know this business. And I've run into it, to be honest. I didn't want to touch on anything negative, so I'm not going to. But let's just say that, there are things going on that, and it happens. It's been happening since, I don't know when. I wish it wasn't that way. That sometimes when you put things out there, there's somebody that will try to snatch it.
Oh yeah.
So I'd just rather keep things to my vest until things are I's are dotted and T's crossed and everything, definitely. So that we can, because I don't. But trust me, when it happens, I'll let you know and I'll let you guys.
And I just want to add to it. I know I text Michelle after I listened to the CD like twice. And I told her, it's one of those that you don't have to skip through. You can just listen to it. And I told her, I'm one of the few people, I guess, that didn't know what to expect I mean, I know she's very talented. You know, I know you're very talented, but I didn't know that the album was going to be go-go based. I didn't know that because I'm so used to people putting that in the background, saying, hey, this is where I came from, but forget about it now. When I get an opportunity to put it on a platform, they just forget about it. And this, I texted her and I just said that I appreciate it. It was a perfect representation of what go-go music can do, because there's no limitations to our music.
Thank you.
And this album really showed that. It was not in a box. It was outside of the box. You know, so I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate the.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. And do I get a chance to thank? I mean,
well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to close out.
Well, hold up, and if that's all you gotta do to say that, I'm like with Chaba Black. I want to work with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's not gonna be my last project. I'm already like wheel spinning, thinking about the next things. I knew this was gonna make me cry. I knew it.
What I'm upset that we don't have a little bit more time, because I wanted to talk to you a lot more in detail as far as your other ventures, as far as working with people moving forward this music and setting the example through the work that you just did, which is a body of work, which is a perfect title. Using this piece right here to influence the growth and movement of this genre. So, but we don't have that time. We gotta get ready to get up out of here. Last minute shout outs. Tell people how to get your CD, please.
All right. I want to thank everybody.
Oh, don't cry, because I'll cry. I will. Nico looking over there, too.
This past...
I will.
I haven't been able to really post on it. When I'm sharing or commenting on people's stuff and I'm putting like the cry emoji, it's because I am really in tears, because I don't take anything for granted. Every sale, every share, every comment has been just like amazing. Like I don't take it lightly, and I really appreciate everybody that's supported me and that has been sharing and tagging and sending me such good words of encouragement. I just want to thank you, because you guys have been the wind beneath my wings. Like seriously, I've been thinking about y'all. Have been on my spirit while I was making this project happen. You have your doubts. You never know how people are going to take to it. Plus, I told y'all that I was isolated, lonely, you know what I'm saying, missing the crowd, missing my stage, and not knowing how people were going to respond. And just the amount of love that I've gotten, it's just been amazing. So thank you. Thank you so much to everybody, for what you've done to show me that my efforts weren't in vain and that you appreciate, my work. It just means the world to me. So thank you. And I love and appreciate you all.
I can't even follow that. Come on, Miss Lady.
Michelle Blackwell. What's the look? I'm like, what's the right? No, it's paused.
As long as they don't give you the Jordan face, you right.
It was stuck, Michelle. But it's stuck. I'm sticky.
Come on,
and tell you guys, remember what's the website?
Okay, the website is michelleblackwellmusic.biz/store. You can follow me on Instagram at Shell Be Well, CHELLE Be Well. I'm sorry, that's my Twitter. And Instagram is Ms. Blackwell, MIZZ Blackwell. So
she shared it all, man. I don't got shout out to everybody that was tuned in on her site, on our site, on that site. Shout out to everybody, man. And I'll be looking forward to big things with Michelle, man.
Thank you, sis.
Go get the album, download the album, man. For all the iTunes users, take it slow. For the iPhone users, take it slow.
Yes. If anybody has any issues, I'm doing all the jobs. I'm the distributor. I'm the customer service agent. All of that. Hit me up. I got you. I promise.
There it is, right there. The one and only Miss Michelle Blackwell.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank y'all for tuning in to the GoWIN Radio Show right here on GoGo Radio Live, Win DC Radio, wrapped up in GoWIN.media. We were live all day from the shops at Iverson. Get ready for Talk with Tayo and her special guest that she has coming up, Millicent Johnson Edgar, right here on Win DC Radio. Keep it locked right here. And plus, we got later on this evening, we got Mike's Corner coming on from 6 to 8. And from 8 to 10, of course, we got the one and only Foreplay the Eargasm. All right? So we're going to get up out of here. We're going to take a different route today because we have our special guest, and she's putting out good, original go-go music, or music in general. All right? We're going to close out with this right here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Oh, this Thursday, Divas Inc., y'all. The whole squad will be in here. All right? Keep it locked. The GoWIN Radio Show.
Sometimes I cry, but I smile too. I'm making this promise to you right now. I'm living my life to the fullest in honor of your memory. So when you look down on me, you'll see that we'll always be together long as I remember. Come on. Remember when